Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and I just wanted to do a reasonably quick GTA discussion video about long videos and the kind of videos that I make, kind of in response to a little bit of criticism that I got on the previous video in the fact-finding series, episode 22 about advanced tuning setups. It was 26 minutes long and I did repeat myself quite a bit, and there was a little bit of criticism about that and not getting to the point quick enough and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make a video explaining it and just, going over a few things. So I do get that I repeat myself quite a bit, and in some videos it's worse than others, but I guess that it comes from those times where I'll make a video on a topic, explain it in detail and explain every single little thing about a certain topic, and then I'll read through the comments and still get somebody ask a question that I answered in the video, and that frustrates me. I used to answer those questions. Now I don't bother because I feel like if you don't have the attention span to listen to the video in full, then I don't feel that you deserve any more of my effort to actually answer the question anymore. On a good day, if I'm feeling happy or whatever, I might put a timestamp to the actual location in the video, but it seems like you always get someone who doesn't listen, even though I've explicitly stated it in the video that they should have been watching, that they're leaving a comment on. It is frustrating, and it's why I tend to make sure that I try to get my point across in future videos, but I feel like sometimes that experiencing that as often as I do, it makes me sometimes overcompensate in future videos when the topic is particularly detailed or particularly difficult to understand, or something that I really want to get my point across. I repeat myself and I go into it in depth and keep banging on about the same thing, just because I don't want it to be missed, like so much other stuff is, from the experience that I have of reading comments on previous videos. Now, for me, I hate misinformation more than anything else, and I guess I make no apologies for really getting into it and explaining a topic rather than just oversimplifying it and giving the wrong information like some other YouTubers do. I'm not going to just tell people how to do something, I'm going to explain why it works and try to give people a better understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. But I guess sometimes that I do try too hard to make sure that everyone knows what I'm saying, and that was probably the case in the previous video where I repeated myself too much about certain things. I could have just said it all at the start like I did and then not mentioned it again. It's just that I hate the idea of misinforming people or people getting the wrong idea about the certain topics. For example, that video in particular, I really wanted people to not waste their time on trying to figure out all of these things. If I was another YouTuber who made a 3-minute video about it, I might have just said, put a big spoiler on, it will help reduce understeer, or put a lower suspension on, it will induce understeer but give more stability, and then that was the end of the video. But that is such a oversimplification of the topic in general that it would be wrong of me to make a video like that, and that's what I hate about current YouTube in some ways, that things are just oversimplified for the sake of a quick video and for the sake of an easy video to make and for the sake of a quick book. So I hate that more than anything. I hate people spreading misinformation and getting something wrong or getting the wrong idea. So I try to repeat myself to really get the point across when it's something that I really think is worth talking about and something that is key and important to the specific topic. I try to make sure people understand it and it doesn't go over people's heads. But then obviously the people who do understand it and the people who get it the first time I say it and don't need it to be repeated, then have the criticism that I'm rambling on too much and they are unhappy with the video at all in general because of that. So it is funny because the previous episode of this series was about 4 minutes long. It was just a quick update on the testing stuff, and I got a bit of shit for that as well, for putting up such a short video. So you can't win either way, whether I put up a short video, whether I put up a long video. And it's not always going to be the case where I'm putting up a really long rambling video. It's not always the case where I'm putting up a really short video. But it seems like if you do anything beyond the norm, if you do anything that's longer than 10 minutes or anything that's less than 5 minutes, you're going to get criticism for it regardless, and that's not the kind of content that I want to make. I want to just make the content that is right for me, and I'm going to try and not ramble on as much, because I feel like the people who are going to miss the point of the video in general. There was some comments on that video, on the previous video, that said, you know, people who can't sit through 26 minutes of a video explaining this are the people who aren't going to get any benefit from it anyway, because you're going to have to spend orders of magnitude more time actually tuning the car and trying all these different things out than just sitting through a 26-minute video. So if you don't have the patience for that, then you don't really have the patience to actually do the tuning setups in the first place. And I do get that, but I also get the idea that you know, I see what people were saying, that it was a little bit too much. The video, it still would have been a long video, maybe 18, 19, 20 minutes long, but I didn't necessarily need to repeat myself as much as what I did. It was just because I sometimes feel that people don't listen, so I overcompensate and try to force it down people's throats so they do listen and don't get the wrong end of the stick, and I'm not flooded with comments asking questions that I've already answered in the video. But you know, maybe the way that I am with that, and maybe not being like other YouTubers and providing watered down quick content, or making 5 videos on the same topic instead of making one half-an-hour long video, maybe that's my downfall, and maybe that's the reason I don't have the subscriber numbers that I do. Obviously the majority of people watching this appreciate what I do and are of a certain level of intelligence, I would say, to understand where I'm coming from and understand what I'm saying and all the kind of stuff that I talk about in my videos. But I guess that maybe that's not the majority of people on YouTube, and that's why these quick 5-minute oversimplified videos are so popular, because that's all people want to see. People don't want to put in the time to watch a long video. People don't want to put in the time to improve their car in GTA Online and spend a couple of hours tuning it. They just want an answer that's going to make them quicker. Well, I can't do that, and I would never want to do that, because it would be spreading misinformation to oversimplify such a thing. And that's not to say anything bad about any of the YouTubers. That's just what they do, and that's fine. That's what they want to do. But that's not the content that I want to make, and I take pride in my content, and if it's not for you, I don't hold it against you. If my long in-depth videos are not something that people like, then they don't have to watch, and that's fair enough. Maybe I'll have some videos that are for people, maybe I'll have some videos that aren't, but I can't please everyone with everything I do. Like I said, you know, that the short videos get some stick, the long videos get some stick. All I can do is take the criticism on board, because there was some constructive criticism as well. You know, there was a few stupid comments that were just saying get to the point quicker, which don't really help, but there were some constructive criticism as well, and I always tried to take that on board. So I will try to not repeat myself as much. Maybe I've not done that already in this video, but I will try and think about that going forward. But ultimately I will be doing what's best for me and make the videos that I want to make, and anyone who doesn't like that, you're welcome not to watch. It's not for people to tell me how to make the content. They can give me suggestions, but I think that there's a certain amount of entitlement in some comments that you see on YouTube, that, you know, these aren't the videos that I want to see, so you shouldn't be making them. You know, that's not how it works. So I'm going to take on the criticism on board. I'm going to try and not ramble on so much. I feel like that's a selling point of my videos in some respect, that I do talk freely and openly and in depth about topics, but I am going to try and make it a little bit more concise and better in that respect, because yeah, the previous video, it was a bit over the edge. I think I do okay on other videos. It's only every now and again that a certain video like that will crop up and it will be a little bit too much. But I do appreciate you guys watching and being here and giving me the constructive criticism as well. And hopefully I can improve in the future. But ultimately I don't think the video was too bad. I don't think it was as bad as what people were necessarily making out, but there was definitely improvement that could be made to that. So that's all I wanted to say, really, just a little bit of a discussion about it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Obviously, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it so much, and I'll see you next time.